today's topic on the Table of Knowledge is to do with Christmas gifts and Christmas parties.
Yes, so now's the time of year where you've probably bought your staff a few Christmas gifts, whether it be a bottle of champagne, some gift cards. You may have bought some clients some gifts as well, or take them out for a long lunch. So this is where we go through and we'll discuss whether those expenses are actually deductible for your business, whether you can claim the GST, and whether there are any FBT implications on those also.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff to talk about there. And it is very relevant because I'm guessing you're probably coding this stuff up at the moment and wondering what to do. So let's start with, first of all, there's 3 or 4 things, actually, 5 things. There's probably heaps of things that we need to identify. But let's look at the difference between what we call entertainment and non-entertainment when it comes to gifts or parties or whatever. And it's quite a complicated subject, so I'm not going to go into it in as much detail as I possibly could because we will be here all day. But the way I break up entertainment versus non-entertainment is looking at whether you're getting something tangible for it versus an experience. So, for example, if you get a bottle of champagne, that's tangible, you can touch it, that's non-entertainment. If you take your staff or your clients out to lunch or to an experience, such as if they go and have a game of golf or they go to a movie or something like that, then that's actually entertainment. So does that make sense, Jade?
Yes, definitely does. So I think this time of year, you probably have taken, if you have employees, out for lunch, Christmas lunch, or provided them a bit of an entertainment category in this expense. So just be wary that you do have to identify whether it is entertainment or non-entertainment, and that does set the rules for a lot of the GST implications and whether it is a business deduction.
Okay, now there are a few meal options out there that would be considered non-entertainment, but we're not really going to talk about those today. They're the things like having biscuits in the office for your staff to eat at morning tea, or perhaps having a working lunch in the office while you're doing a conference or some sort of training or something like that. We're talking about Christmas parties where you actually leave the office, go out and have a bit of a meal, have a drink maybe, whatever, to celebrate Christmas or whatever event it might be. The other thing we need to then work out is the person that you're providing this benefit to an employee or a non-employee? So, an employee or a client. When we talk about employees, we're also talking about their associates, so that would mean their spouse or, their children or whoever it is that is related to that person. So employee versus client, and those distinctions need to be made. And the reason we need to make them are because of fringe benefits tax. So Jade, do you know what fringe benefits tax means with regards to employees?
I do, Jo. I obviously don't have the biggest knowledge as you do, as it is quite a complex subject, and I do feel that it can get quite deep, but I do have a broad understanding of what fringe benefit tax is, or FBT, but I do feel that not many people do, so it might be good to give everyone a bit of a run through on what it might be.
Sure. Okay, so fringe benefits tax is a fringe benefit. Fringe benefits tax is a tax that's applied to a benefit that's provided to an employee that's a non-cash benefit. So we need to consider whether we're providing a benefit to our employees that should be taxed. Essentially, a non-cash benefit is if you pay them in some way that isn't cash. So an example could be that you decide to pay for your gym membership for your staff, or you pay for their school fees, or you buy them a car or something like that is part of their package but is not part of their normal wages. So when it comes to entertainment or any sort of gift that is provided to an employee, there is fringe benefits tax associated with that because it's a benefit that's not a cash benefit, that is part of their package. What we need to consider is the value of that benefit, and if the value is under $300, it's considered a minor benefit, in which case there is no fringe benefits tax applied to it. So from an entertainment point of view, if you take your staff out for dinner and it costs less than $500 per person, there is no fringe benefits tax to pay on it. Or if you give them a Christmas gift, such as some perfume or a bottle of champagne, and it's under $300, there's no fringe benefits tax to pay on it. If it's over that, then we have to pay fringe benefits tax, and you probably want to avoid that if you can.
Yes, and I think that's something that a lot of people aren't aware about. They do sometimes buy those gifts that are above $300 and don't think of the FBT implications that come along with those.
Mm-hmm. And FBT is a tax that's quite high. It's a tax to the business, not to the employee. It's at 45%, and so it's a tax that you really want to avoid if you can. Now, if you do have to pay fringe benefits tax on a gift or a entertainment to a staff member, then the cost of that gift or that entertainment is actually tax deductible, and you can claim the GST on it if GST is applicable. So if you do have to pay fringe benefits tax on a gift or a entertainment that's provided to an employee, then you will be able to claim that gift or entertainment as a tax deduction, and you will be able to claim the GST on it. So I guess there's some slight benefit to that. However, the tax that you have to pay on it is not probably that great to have to pay. So we try and avoid that if we can. Now, the distinction between a client and an employee is that if you have a client, they're not an employee, so there is no fringe benefits tax to pay on it. So we need to be aware of that as well. So if you're paying for some entertainment for a client, you can't claim that as a fringe benefit. That makes sense? Maybe, maybe not. So what about if we take our clients? So let's talk about entertainment in general, shall we? The only way entertainment is tax deductible is if there is fringe benefits tax involved in it. So if you're taking a client out for dinner or to any sort of entertainment type venue, that is not a tax deduction and you cannot claim GST on it. Now, Jade, have you seen lots of clients try and put that through?
I definitely have. So they've taken people out to watch a football game, things like that. So I have seen a lot of people try and claim that as a tax deduction, and they can't understand why we're not allowed to put that through as a tax deduction for them. So I do think it is good that we provide a bit of extra knowledge around this, as it is an area that not many people know a lot about, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I do agree. Now, if you do happen to buy a gift for your client, so for example, we gave not all of our clients because it would have cost us a fortune, we gave some of our clients some Christmas gifts this year. We sent out a little hamper with a few goodies in it. They are a tax deduction because they are not entertainment and they are being provided with the purpose of gaining future assessable income. That's what the tax ruling says. Now, to us it's just, nice thing to do. They're our clients, we really like them and we want to give them a Christmas gift. But essentially, if there's a connection to the gaining of future assessable income, then we can claim that gift as a tax deduction and claim the GST on the gift if it's applicable to the item that you've purchased. So there is some good news there. The same applies if that is done to a staff member. So if we give our staff members a gift and it's under $300, then we can claim that as a tax deduction as well. So it's very complicated. I do get that. Again, Joel will put a link in the show notes of the article I wrote about this week, and you can go through and have a look at how this applies to you. But just to quickly recap, if you take anyone out to lunch or dinner, any kind of entertainment, it's not tax deductible and there is no GST that you can claim on that, with the exception of if it is over $300 worth of entertainment and it's provided to an employee, in which case you'll have to pay fringe benefits. If you're providing them with a gift that is not entertainment, so something that's physical, then you should be able to claim it as a tax deduction and also be able to claim the GST on it. But again, read the article because not all gifts are tax deductible. They have to be related to the business and earning future assessable income.